Hey Josh, can you hear me? Okay. Man, this thing's been a mess. I don't know what happened, but I scheduled it, rescheduled it, and the Melon app wouldn't allow me to access it through my laptop. So I'm trying to delete that one. Looks like people are figuring it out. Got a couple people in here. Okay, so that one's deleted. That's good. Tell you what, this stuff is complicated, man. Okay, that's good. Okay, we're doing better. Okay. Okay, we're doing better. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened. All right. I scheduled this accidentally. I don't know if it was because I was in the central time zone when I did it, but it did it as 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I caught it on my way home from work. So I had to scramble, reschedule it. And for some reason, I wasn't allowed to access it through Melon. And so you guys were in the one I couldn't access initially before it started. So apparently the countdown and everything stopped, and we are live, and that's fine. I'm glad it's working. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Um, I don't know what's going on with this. If I had more time, I would probably look at switching to StreamYard or another platform, because I do not have any luck with this at all. All right. So we have 10 people in here right now. We got Josh in the green room. so you guys know, the cruise we just came off of was crazy because we did the celebration. We were home for 5 full days. We got home late on Saturday night or Sunday night. I'm sorry. We worked Monday through Friday, and we flew out early Saturday morning again, like we did for celebration. But this time we flew to Miami for Oasis. When I got back from the celebration, I had like a sinus infection, and I was having trouble with my sinuses all week long, sneezing and just congested and everything. I don't know what happened, but on the airplane, you know how you get the pressure in your ears and your sinuses when you go up high and you come back down. When we got on the ground, everything, my ears just were plugged. And shortly thereafter, within a day of that, I completely lost my voice. My ears were plugged all week long, and I could not talk at all the first couple days on the ship. I'm going to say it was almost 3 full days. I would start off with like a real raspy voice, and by midday, you could barely hear me. And then at night, as everything got louder on the ship, I couldn't even talk. I would literally have to whisper into Laura's ear. And the crazy thing about it was the first couple days, all the vlogging was Laura. She had to do all of the talking on the camera and everything. So it's going to be really unique for us when we go back and start going through it all. She did her first room tour ever, and she did a nice job. I'm really proud of her that she did all that. And but talk about just bad luck. We get out to celebration. We're on that ship with everybody and their brother. It's constant distraction because you're constantly meeting and talking to people. So it's hard to vlog when all that's going on. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's very difficult to do. I don't know if others in here that were on the celebration will agree with me. It was a little more of a challenge for us. I still managed to get a lot of footage. Of course, I didn't get to upload hardly any of it because we were home for 5 days and we left and went on Oasis. So now we are, back from the Oasis. Laura started getting, we were stuck at the airport for 10 hours on Sunday. It was ridiculous. What happened was American Airlines sent us an email about 3 weeks before our trip. They changed our return flight home, and it went into my spam folder. So I missed the flight change, the time, until like a week ahead. We realized, oh my God, they changed our return flight from 1:40 p.m. getting in Detroit with the layover like at 6 o'clock to leaving at 8:05 and getting in Detroit at 11:15 at night. And there's nothing we could do about it. We even looked at, what if we stay in Miami for another night? What kind of flight can we get the next day? And it was just going to be way too much money to do that. You do, $200-300 for the hotel, and then the airfare was going to be even higher. We just said we're going to bite the bullet and we're just going to stay there. Well, I believe Laura, who just got over being sick, she had like they said she had like an infection, like in her larynx, almost like RSV. She was coughing like crazy for 2 weeks. She just gets over it, gets back, and she is sneezing her head off and runny nose and feels really bad. So that's why she's not here, and I'm here solo. But I'm not solo because Big Josh is going to be joining in with us here in just 1 minute. I'm just welcoming you all aboard. And the technical difficulties today, guys, I don't know what's going on. I've never had an issue like this before, where you schedule your live stream, it shows up on your YouTube channel. There it is. Here's the link. I'm in it. I'm on it, looking at you guys, waiting for the live stream to start, and I can't access it. I can't access it, with the computer to start it. I can't go into my schedule. It shows nothing scheduled. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's why we had the snafu getting started. So I'm happy we got it worked out. And just real quick, I'm going to say hello to everybody that's in here. If you see me, I'm using my, I'm doing both. I'm looking at my phone. Eddie Lugo. Hey, buddy. Cruise Nuts. Traveler Bus. We saw those guys on the celebration a few weeks ago. Have Pitwell Barbecue. Moonlight Adventures. Moonlight. Josh, I think he's probably still in Jersey, I would guess. For work, I assume. Right, Josh? You were at the Tic Tac Diner in Jersey. We were at the Tic Tac Diner in New York back in August, and I don't know which one came first, but it's looks like it's the same restaurant. Have Luxury Travel, of course, that's Josh. PSV Paul, Destination Fun, Meg, Julie. Can Josh and Eddie sing? I'm sure we can. I don't know if you'll like it. Embarkation Nation. All right, so no more. This guy, I'm gonna give him a good introduction because he deserves it. He's the legend. He's the did you know guy. He is the king of Little Debbie snack cakes. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. He is a Southern gentleman. He is love the guy. He's awesome. It's just the sad thing is, you guys that know us, you probably already figured it out. There's 3 channels, and we've become really good friends, and that is us, Have Luxury Travel, and How We Cruise. And Josh calls Brian, himself, and I the 3 amigos. And today it's just going to be 2 amigos because I think Brian is going to chime in if he can, but he's coaching hockey, which means he's yelling at pre-adolescent kids on skates. I coached baseball for over a decade, so I'm familiar with the art form of dealing with the Lord of the Flies. Hey, Clock Family Adventures is here. It's a little odd not having my right hand one man. There's my baby girl, Laura. She's in another room, guys. Okay. So I'm going to bring him on. Here comes the big man. Look at that. Look at that.
Good evening.
Hey, buddy. How you doing today, buddy?
Doing fantastic, man. Hate that the beautiful sidekick of yours is sick, but, I'm an ugly replacement, but I can do it.
Well, this is what I'm calling this is, hey, I was going to put on my Have Luggage Will Travel shirt You know what happened though? Man, crazy. By the time I got home, I rushed through the door, had time to eat. Laura sent me called me and said, "Hey, your live stream's going on in 20 minutes." I'm like, "What?" So I'm at red lights trying to cancel that before you guys are sitting in there going, "Where's this idiot at?" You know? And the funny thing is, I'm pretty technically savvy, man. I used to run a website for our local union uh, for years, and I'm pretty good with computers. You know, that's what every old guy says. Uh, but for real, you know, it's like I'm not as inept as I seem to be here with this Melon app. But anyways, I'm having panic, and then you know I got to eat, and then rush up here and get all the lights set up and everything. We haven't done this in 3 or 4 weeks, so I'm making sure I got everything together. So it's been a crazy day. Yesterday I took off. We didn't get in bed till almost 2 o'clock in the morning. Josh, what do you think of American Airlines, buddy?
Well, we didn't reveal last night in our live what happened. I'm not a fan after our fiasco Saturday into Sunday morning trying to get home. So,
buddy, I used to like them, and I don't anymore. I'm going to tell you, they've let us down so many times. You guys don't know, Josh and Amanda, their flight got canceled, and they had
yeah.
they got stuck in Dallas, and they had to stay the night there. We didn't have anything that bad happen, but when they just arbitrarily, with no reason, move your flight 6 hours, 8 hours, or just cancel it, it's like, are you kidding me? No forewarning. And then we found out, because we're scrambling, trying to help Josh and Amanda, Brian and Julie, and Laura and I were all on our phones on Google, figuring out what rights they have. And basically, they have no rights. The airlines can do that to you. They can cancel you. They don't have to give you anything. And that is just, that's bull, man. That's not fair. And it's not the right way to treat people. But I will tell you, we have an annual travel policy, and it does cover stuff like this, but there's a limit on how much you can claim per policy year, right? Annual policy year, it's capped off. So you have to, it's like your homeowner's insurance or your automobile insurance. Is it cheaper for me to eat this, or do I want to file a claim and then maybe something big happens? Now I don't have the coverage for that, or they'll raise my premiums for next year. You know how insurance companies are. They're like loan sharks. They're betting you're not going to have a problem. You're not going to crash. You're not going to get sick. And you're betting you will, you know, and then, you know, when it's time to collect, they don't want to pay. But with that, we don't like American Airlines very much right now. And we've had all kinds of issues with them. And we were sad to see Josh and Amanda. When I asked Amanda, I go, "What airline?" She said, "American Airlines." I said, "Oh, man, we've had such bad luck with them." I'll tell you, the airline that I like, that we've had really good luck with lately, and I used to think that they were not one to deal with, is Southwest. Man, your bags, you don't have to pay for your bags. Our only problem is we have layovers everywhere Southwest flies.
Yeah, it's hard to get a direct flight unless you're going into one of their big hubs.
It's like a 4.5 hour flight, but it's going to take you 13 hours because you got 2 layovers or something crazy. So you always got to look at that. And I do recommend, even though you might not be able to use your travel insurance all the time, you guys that are watching, that you do have some type of policy for that. So with that, I didn't mean to sidetrack onto that, but just looking at you thinking, man, I know it. I know how you feel. And us getting home that late, I had to burn a vacation day. Laura's like, "There's no way you're going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to work." And, you know, and I said, okay, she wasn't feeling well. And I knew I'll start tearing open the suitcases and getting the laundry going and getting everything straightened and put away. We can put our suitcases away because our next cruise is for 7 weeks. So we don't have to have that tripping over in our bedroom for the next week like we did the last time. I will tell you that quick turnaround, it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. I thought, man, this is awesome. You know, no,
good idea at first.
Yeah, it was great. It sounded good. It looked good on paper. And now I'm like, oh man. And then we get that the news story that Jubilee got delayed. And so you know, Brian's like, "Hey, we got a group cruise scheduled for November." And I got bad news for him because I started looking at calculating all my days and times. And it is in early November. And order for a cruise to work in November for me, it's got to be the week of Thanksgiving so I can have those 2 extra days. Otherwise, I don't have enough time to pull it off. And I just did the math on that today, so it's crazy. He's doing another group cruise on Royal Caribbean. I think it's November 5th of 2023. You guys that are wanting to cruise with How We Cruise, we won't be able to do that one, unfortunately. And I also have to use up that cruise credit I got for the Jubilee with Carnival. All right, so when Josh and Brian heard that I wasn't going to have anyone here to kick me under the table, they said, "Hey, we'll come on your channel, and we won't have anyone kicking us under the table either." But like we said in the beginning, Brian is coaching hockey, so we're going to pick on Brian. But I reached out to Josh today, and we had a strategy meeting, and it took about 2 minutes, and we decided what we're going to talk about. So Josh recommended that we talk about the differences that I noticed between Carnival and Royal. Now, Josh has a vested interest in this because he will be going on Oasis of the Seas with us and Brian and who all else we don't know yet. Might be Taylor, Kyle, and our son Carson might be going with us on that one as well. They're talking about getting a room for 3. Brian gave us some prices on it, and they're going to work it out. We'll know for sure in the next 10 days that they're going to do it. And it looks like they are. So to be add another layer of fun to it. So Josh was saying, sell me on it. Sell me on Oasis. Sell me on Celebration. And you know what you think about them. And I'm going to ask you, Josh, what are you curious about? What are you most curious about?
Food, number one for me. I'm a big guy. The easeability of moving around the ship. I don't like clunky ships. That's why I'm not a fan of the Vista, which I heard today. You may put it in your news that this is going to dry dock finally in 2024 if it makes it that long.
Oh my goodness.
But I like ships that flow really good, and that's kind of like why I like the Mardi Gras. Once I kind of got the layout and I kind of understood how they were flowing on deck 6, 7, and 8 with the casino and all that. I love ships that are not hard to understand. I've been on a few that are really clunky to get around, and like you got to go down this little cubby hole to get to a staircase, or they annex a casino underneath by the bonsai sushi. And so that's what I'm really interested to see is on these mega ships, like how easy they are to move about them and stuff. And watched tons of videos, but I'm excited to see that on Oasis to see if I would like to go on a lure later in October 2023. If I enjoy Oasis, that may be what we do.
Yeah, that now the celebration's identical to the Mardi Gras layout.
Yeah.
The only thing really different is they fine-tune some of the restaurants. And when I mean fine-tune it, they like the Golden Jubilee is the
Brass Magnolia.
Yeah, the Brass Magnolia on the Mardi Gras. The Brass Magnolia is wide open when you're sitting in there, and they got that stage that faces out towards the hallway. And then you have the other bar right around the corner.
Yeah.
From the Brass Magnolia, and you can hear the music from that bar kind of seeping into this bar at the same time, and it can become distracting if you have a good ear and you're hearing both, and the music's like clash with each other, or you'll hear a lot of stuff going on over here when it gets quiet over there, and vice versa. So on the Celebration, they actually close it off more. And there's like a glass wall, and then the stage is in this corner coming back this way towards the outer part of the ship.
Yeah.
So they had a piano, a grand piano set up in there, and a guy playing piano. They had a violin, 3-piece violin group performing in there, and you could hear their music, and you didn't hear no bleed from the hallway, from across the way, which was really cool. So there's little things like that they did that was better. The bar on it's called 820, bar 820 on Celebration. That same bar on the Mardi Gras has the worst stools you've ever sat at. They had these little tiny stools that are like made for like kids. I'm not talking about small adults. I'm talking like kids. I mean, they're really small and they're fixed to the floor, and you can't get comfortable on them. And that's why when you walk by the Mardi Gras, when you're walking on that aisleway right there, where all the
Yeah.
pizza is and the little Fiat car is, that
Yeah.
bar right there,
Uh-huh.
there's no one ever sitting in it. Everybody's
No, I
standing
noticed
ordering their
that, yeah.
drinks. Yeah, they have adult-sized stools that aren't fixed. They are very comfortable. They're sitting there. And then that bar has an outside bar. You go through the glass doors on each side. And if you're out on that promenade deck, there's a bar out there too. So that's better thought out. So I think it's definitely thought out better and laid out better than the Mardi Gras. And we also got that same opinion from one of the restaurant. I can't remember the guy's title. He's like assistant over the main dining room. I forgot his title. He was talking to us, and he'd mentioned it. He just got off the Mardi Gras to come out celebration, and he asked me what I thought. I said, I think it flows a little better. I think there's some better thought out things on this ship that they've improved on. He says, I agree with you completely. So in that we agree. The XL class ships on Carnival, the food is better on those ships than any other Carnival ships.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're comparing Carnival to Royal, you have to specify, are we going to compare an XL ship or we're going to just compare all the ships? Because when you throw in Shebang and Kachina is included dining packages on those XL ships. I don't know if they're going to stay that way, but right now they're included. And then you got Shacks in there too. That's 3 with guys, which is on all the ships. Blue Iguana, all those included restaurants actually, we believe, gives Carnival the edge over Royal still. After going on Oasis, we believe the free dining options just gives you a wider variety of food choices on Carnival without going into special dining arena. Now on the Oasis, the buffet is a little better than Carnival's, especially the breakfast, Josh. Now, I don't know if you're a corned beef hash guy.
Yes.
You got to be, right, man?
Oh, yeah.
Meat, potatoes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They had, oh my God, they do it right. Now, on Carnival, they make these little hamburger patties out of corned beef hash, and they put it out there. Royal Caribbean has a big old plate of it, man. It's got chopped up potatoes and green peppers and red peppers in it, and it's delicious. And they have the Solarium Bistro, is a great breakfast spot halfway through the cruise until everybody figures it out. Then it gets real busy, but it's a buffet, a smaller version of the buffet in a much less crowded area in the front of the ship, right on deck 15. They have outstanding banana pancakes, waffles, French toast, if you like that kind of thing. The thing I liked about it too is they had sugar-free syrup, which makes me not feel as bad when I'm eating like a pig. Well, this is good. It's got no calories in it, but I've got all these, I got 2 plates, Josh. I eat like I'm your size, buddy. You got to put all your French toast and pancakes on one and all your meat and potatoes on the other one, right? So it's like their breakfast buffet is better, hands down better than Carnival's. Where they become kind of the same to me is at lunch and dinner. Royal has more choices, but the food isn't spectacular. It's not gonna knock your socks off.
Yeah.
Now, my benchmark for good buffet food is the one celebrity cruise we were on. And that's a whole different level. That's why you pay thousands of dollars to go on celebrity. That buffet food, you'll eat it and you'll be going, this can't be right. This tastes too good. Mashed potatoes. I've never had mashed potatoes at any buffet that I thought was just like really good. They're always, and macaroni and cheese. My God, those are 2 things that they can never get right at a buffet.
Oh, yeah. Very bland.
Macaroni's always bland and watery, and the mashed potatoes are just terrible. Celebrity, they're much better. Laura believes that she gives the nod to Royal on the buffet. Main dining room. This is interesting. The first night we thought it's a little better than Carnival, and then the next night we thought It's close to the same. Their shrimp is better. Their shrimp cocktail. I don't know where Carnival gets those tiny little shrimp for those shrimp cocktails they give you. Their shrimp cocktails are more like adult shrimp sizes, right? Um, but their coconut shrimp that they had one day looked like they got that from Carnival. It was a real tiny little shrimp,
like Captain D's.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck is this? So what we liked about the main dining room is it's different than Carnival's. Excuse me, Carnival, the main dining, we got that menu memorized because we ate on Carnival so much in the last year. We've been on 10 Carnival cruises in just a little over a year. We can look at that and just going by what the entrees are, we know everything's going to be that night because we've had every version of that and we're kind of bored of it. So if we didn't sail like lunatics constantly and we're comparing the two, we think it would feel more favorable. So, especially dining, we did Playmakers, which is a sports bar. Now, if we're comparing XL Ship to Oasis, they're pretty even because on the XL Ship, they don't really have a sports bar, but the Pig and Anchor and Heroes Bar is full of TVs. And I'm going to tell you, when there's a big game on, it's on all the TVs.
Oh, yeah, it's packed, yeah.
Yeah, we watched Thanksgiving football, and there it was awesome on Celebration. But Playmakers, Josh, oh my God, buddy, they have TVs outside on the boardwalk, TVs inside, TVs everywhere, and they have a schedule showing you what professional sports are going to be shown each day of your cruise.
Oh, that's
NHL awesome. Games, NBA games, NFL games, whatever, college football. It's all on that schedule, which is pretty cool. Playmakers is option. You have to pay for that, just like Pig and Anchor. We ate that, and it was good. Burgers, chicken sandwiches, onion rings, all that kind of stuff. It was good. Now, I'll tell you what they really had. They had a Super Bowl Sunday. $9 for this sucker, and you get a football helmet to bring home. I got two, but I left one. I can only put one in my suitcase. I don't know how many scoops of ice cream is in that, Josh, but my gosh, if you like ice cream, oh my God, it's really, really good. Yeah, man, that was really good. So you got Playmakers. Here is the one that I'm going to really get down on Royal Caribbean. They need to get out of the Mexican food game.
Yeah.
They're going to get hit. They're going to get hit by the cartel. That's how bad their Mexican food is. They're in danger. They're in danger, buddy. El Loco Fresh.
It's still pre-made?
Yeah, it's like the burritos are all pre-wrapped under a heat lamp. Nothing was good. Now, Taylor and Kyle didn't think it was that bad. Laura took one bite of everything. It was like, oh man. And then Taylor and Kyle, when we were stumped for where we were going to go for lunch, because we got off the ship 4 times, man. We did 3 excursions and we did Coco Cay, Perfect Day Coco Cay. So those days we were getting back on the ship late, and we opted to eat on the ship a couple days. 2 of them were all inclusive with food, and we couldn't find the famous chicken sandwich at Perfect Day at Coco Cay because we got caught in a torrential downfall. It started pouring, man. It was just, oh my gosh! The sky opened up, man. We got rain on so hard. I had this. Laura has this flamingo bag we throw all our stuff in, and it's got a plastic lining in it. There's a half inch of water in that, just from the water seeping through the zipper.
Wow!
I was like, holy. Yeah, it was funny because got no shirt on. Half the people had their towels wrapped over them, and going without a shirt was a smarter move because I had that waterproof sunscreen on. So the water was beating. I was really glistening then, Jack. It was beating off and going off me like Rain-X, right? So it wasn't staying on me. Everyone else, Kyle had a shirt on. They were more cold when we got on the ship than I was. I was like, I'm already dry, because it just dripped right off. 100 SPF, waterproof, baby. But that got us. That robbed me of my chicken sandwich, man. The only reason I went to that Coco Cay was to get that chicken sandwich I keep hearing about, and I didn't even get it. I'm like, I was so mad. But we managed to get alcohol, so maybe our priorities aren't exactly where they should be.
I understand.
So now you got that. So that day we ate on the ship, and you get back on it. I feel like there's just way more options in that middle of the day on an XL ship with you got street eats, man. You got the seafood shack if you want to spend a little money. You've got all the other ones I named, and you've got the buffet. So I still give them the nod. Pizza. Royal's got better pizza, hands down, the best pizza at sea. Their pizza is good. You can get pizza with actual toppings on it anytime. You know what I mean? Not just pepperoni.
No,
you can,
I'm with you.
Yeah, you can. I was getting the vegetarian, which that's why I like it. Just it's got the onions and the mushrooms and the green peppers, all that, and it's really really good. We tend to be pizza snobs and we're barbecue snobs, which brings me to Portside Barbecue. It's better than Pig and Anchor, but that's not saying a whole lot. You know, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Barbecue is an art.
Very much so.
And we, Laura and I are snobs about pizza. We'll eat any kind though, because bad pizza is still okay.
Yeah.
But barbecue, no, man. There's so much that goes into it. It's not only how it's cooked, it's the quality of the meat you start with. If the meat is full of fat and it's stringy, it's not, no matter how good you cook it. Yeah, it's not going to come out good, right? Their brisket was good. It was decent. I had like pulled pork and I had brisket, and this is, you pay extra for this. And then I found out this Portside Barbecue is only on Oasis of the Seas. Unless one of you guys out there know different than me. I'm looking here. It is it's a little better. Their macaroni and cheese is a little better than Pig and Anchor, but I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't. If I'm on that ship, I'm not opting for it unless I'm with a group of you guys and you always you guys want to go there. I'll go there. I'm real easy to. I'm not picky like our buddy Brian, who only eats chicken nuggets and burgers off the kids' menu. I'm a little more flexible than that, but being that we're vloggers and we're supposed to try to give you the what we really think. I don't want to lead you guys wrong. We weren't super impressed with that, but like I said, the overall though, the MDR are very similar. I don't think either cruise line has really good desserts. I'm going to tell you that. I was not blown away by the desserts on, besides that Sunday for $9. I wasn't blown away by the desserts on Royal, and I'm not blown away by the desserts on Carnival too. And I'm kind of glad, because I get enough calories from the drinking and all the other giant breakfasts I eat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If the desserts were, you couldn't pass up on them, I'd probably gain 30 pounds of cruise instead of 15 to 20.
I'm with you.
So in regards to food, though, you're not going to go hungry on either cruise line. But if you're strictly a Carnival guy, it is an adjustment. Now, you're talking about flow of the ships. There's no problem getting around on the Oasis. Royal does a lot of things better than Carnival. Carnival does some stuff better than Royal. Royal is much better at designing elevators that actually function. They go up and down. Don't just disappear for like, you stand there for like 10 minutes going, did the power go out? What? I haven't seen an elevator in 10 minutes. Celebrations elevators suck. They absolutely suck. And so do the elevators on a Mardi Gras. They suck. They're too slow. They're way too slow. Dude. What is that? A honey bun? What do you got?
Maybe not.
You're funny, buddy. But yeah, the elevators suck. Now, here's the Oasis ship. 25% bigger than Celebration. Their elevators are swift, man. They're up and down. There's more of them. And they're modern. You go in them and there is a panel that's lit up that tells you the floors and even gives you little symbols showing you what's on each floor. And there's powered kiosks at each floor that you hit. It will tell you what you're looking for, and you can hit it, and it'll tell you how to get there. And every time you walk out of your room, Josh, it says aft, forward. You know which direction you're going in. You can find everything. Much, much better ship layout, much better signage, easier to find restrooms. They don't hide the restrooms. The restrooms, way nicer. much bigger. You're gonna like that because there's one on the Celebration. I got in there, I could barely close the main door.
Yep.
I'm like going, and then if you're washing your hands, you got to watch out for the door to pop open because you get hit with the door. I'm like,
I went in that one on the Mardi Gras. I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a you don't know if you should lock it or not, and you know what I mean. It's like you don't want people thinking you're like,
yeah,
you know, I don't know, scared or something, but you don't want to get hit with the door. But anyways, yeah, the way getting around on that ship is much bigger and it's easier to get around on, harder to get lost on. But here's where their problems are. That promenade, I still don't like it. I still don't like the promenade. I was on Harmony of the Seas in 2019. My initial opinion about the promenade stands. 2 Oasis ships, same opinion. You do not feel like you are on a cruise ship when you're in the middle of that ship on the promenade on deck 5. You do.
Is that where it's open up outside?
Yes.
Like they zip line across it? Okay.
Yeah. No, actually, there's an actual roof on it, but it's in the middle. At each end, it opens up to the sky. You got, and that is actually up on deck 6. You got the boardwalk at one end. You got Central Park at the other. Love Central Park. Central Park is awesome. We didn't eat at Chops Grill or the other fancy restaurant in Central Park, but we did the Park Cafe for breakfast one day and for lunch, and it was really nice. Felt like you were at like a deli, like in New York, and you felt like you were sitting out in New York in Central Park eating. It's got a really cool vibe, and I don't know how they do it. If it's the actual wind carrying down in there, somehow wind tunnel effect, or if there's hidden fans, but there's a breeze down there too. It's like you literally feel like you're sitting out on the street somewhere with trees and everything. It's really cool. And at night, absolutely beautiful, very romantic place to go take a walk. And there's a little bar out there. It's very, very nice. The boardwalk is cool. You got Johnny Rockets on one side, you got Playmakers on the other side. Playmakers also has like a little arcade built into it, which is kind of cool. They had the old school games. I believe I saw Donkey Kong, Frogger, and Pac-Man. Pretty cool. Yeah, they were in there. And so that end opens up, and at the end of that, at the back of the ship is where they have the Aqua 80 show. Now get this. The first night we have it booked. Second night on the ship, we see a sign saying it got moved to Thursday. Supposed to be Monday, now it's moved to Thursday. I'm like, what? You know, they didn't tell us nothing, but it was up on the screen. I'm like, okay, well, apparently we don't have to worry about going tonight. Guess what happens Thursday? Rain. No, they didn't cancel either, and it's raining. It's raining, and you're supposed to sit in these wet seats in the damn rain. And Laura and I looked at each other like, maybe if I was a little younger, it'd be worth it. But I don't want to feel like I'm in the pool with these guys getting soaked. You know,
like
I'm like,
SeaWorld.
I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So everybody tried to get up top underneath the roof, and all those, they were faster than us. They got there ahead of us, and we couldn't get a good spot. So we didn't get to see it. But we saw it indirectly. Not by choice, but we got an interior facing, inside facing balcony. It actually faced the boardwalk, which I could sit on a balcony and see that pool where they do the show, and I could see a lot of it, and you could hear all of it. We're in our room, and the last show starts, I think, at 10:45, and it was a night where we went hard all day on excursions. Laura is dead asleep. She laid down and she's out, and I'm sitting there and I'm wide awake, and all of a sudden, The Power of Love by Huey Lewis comes on full blast. And I don't know if I'm flashback to when I was 12 years old. I don't know what's going on. Is it 1980? What is going on? Then it dawned on me, they're doing that show out there. And I'm like going, what the hell? It's like your neighbors decide to have a loud, super loud party, like in the middle of the night. I'm like, what? And I'm like looking out there, and I'm like, sure enough, they're doing a show out there. I'm like, oh, all right, that's cool. Some sitting there, they're playing Purple Rain. They're playing all these songs from the 80s. And I was like, this is cool. And we have a habit of watching TV before we go to bed on the cruises. We do it every night at home. We do it on the cruise ships too. Carnival's TV sucks, and it's still better than Royals. The TV selection. Royals TV selection is awful, man. It's absolutely terrible. yeah, so that wasn't very good, and it goes out too. It like loses signal all the time, and then you got your access to the account, what's happening, all that on
Mhm.
TV. You can't even access it half the time because it's out. Now, some of you guys might be wondering how we got that balcony. I don't know. We put a bid up on we had an interior room, and Laura's like, let's try to get one with an ocean view. So we did a bid up process with Royal, and we put in the minimum bid was $80 a person. And when we got on the ship, they told us that day, oh no, you got new rooms, So we got our boarding passes all attached to the luggage that the porters already took away, Josh. And they tell us at the counter, here's your new boarding passes. I'm like thinking, well,
Wait a second.
how's my luggage going to get to me? Right? Oh, they'll get it to you. I'm like, sure. So we went from deck 12 to deck 13, and we thought we got our bid up. Right? So we go to our room, walk in there, and get our cards. And it says Elaine and Tom or something on the cards. Like, this is our room. And we and it was open. The room steward had the room open. So we just walked in there looking around, and they had a fruit and wine and cookies and other stuff in there, and all this stuff. And there was something there with our name on it. I'm like going, so the room steward comes in, and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, these aren't our cards. They told us this is our room. We showed him the boarding pass. He goes, oh yeah, this is your room. And no worries, we'll get you the right cards. And I was like, okay. And then we had to go get them. We had to go to guest services, and they give us the cards. But then they kept that couple in the room with us. So when we tried to book stuff, they're like, well, all four of you. And like, not these four. We got these two guys with us. We had Taylor and Kyle with us. Like, no, we're not all together. So finally, after a couple of days, those people dropped off of our room. But the room steward, the poor guy, he's like, was nervous around us, and I couldn't even talk. And he's like, are you guys friends with the hotel manager? And we're like, no. He's like, well, he likes you guys because he gave you all this stuff. And you can tell me. He's like terrified that if he doesn't do something right, he's going to be in trouble, and he's got to take extra good care of us. So he was doing our room, Josh, 3-4 times a day.
Wow.
Every time we left the room and came back, if we used one towel, it was replaced. And the bed was made up again. You like you sat on the bed to tie your shoes, it was smoothed out perfect again. It's like, what's going on in here?
You need to drop that information when you go on a cruise.
Hey, when I got day 3, when I could talk, I pulled him aside. I said, dude, we're just cruise vloggers. We don't know nobody. We ain't nobody important. So you don't have to do all that. And he's like, oh no, I want to make sure you're happy. And I brought Miss Laura a robe, and I'm like, thank you. Yeah. So anyways, it was, would I pay to have a balcony facing a boardwalk? No, I wouldn't pay extra for that. I would not. I'd pay a little more and get one facing the ocean. I think it might be another $100, $150 more to get one facing the ocean versus one facing the boardwalk. There's really no benefit in it. I could look out there and see the ocean in the distance, aft, and I could see some of the sky. The zip line ended right over top of our roof on our balcony. I didn't really hear anything. I thought I'd hear that the whole time we were there. But if you look at the zip line on those Oasis, where it ends, that was our room. We're like one below that. But I couldn't see paying extra money for that. I really could not do that. And we had an accessible room, which is ginormous for those guys on the scooters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the bathroom was huge. You would love that. The bathroom was absolutely huge. I mean, lots of room in there. You could, if you had hair, you could comb it and not hit your elbow on the wall. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man, it was huge. It was absolutely huge. That was cool. But the deck had a ramp, so when you open the door, you had to open it all the way so it would fold down. Otherwise, it was a tripping hazard. But outside of that, very cool. The service on Royal is much better in the bars because they have more people working in the bars. I
Mhm.
give that to Royal. There are servers running all over the place constantly, seeing if you need another drink on
Mhm.
Royal. They are way, way better. Carnival will have a bar like that and have maybe 2 people there, maybe.
Mhm.
Royal, if would have double whatever Carnival would have, like in a bar. For the people that are into going to bars, you know what I'm talking about. You're in Ocean Plaza. There's 2 bar servers running around. Royal would probably have 4, 5, or 6 in Ocean Plaza if they had an Ocean Plaza. This is where I knock Royal down. Royal doesn't have an Ocean Plaza. They don't have an area like that.
Mhm.
They have a band playing in the promenade on an elevated platform above. I forget what's underneath. It's near the English pub and in between the Schooner Bar at the same level as the Schooner Bar. But it's off on its own little thing. So they're playing live music. There's no place to sit down there. It's just people
That's
passing by
terrible.
or watching them play, or people are standing around, or you can sit in the coffee shop across the way and kind of see them a little bit. And they have to sit down to play. I don't know if it's because they're up on that elevated platform. There's a glass
Hmm.
wall that goes around it, or like
Weird.
railing that goes around it. So I don't like that. Now they do have a rock. I think it's called the Rock Hall. They had a Aerosmith cover band that was phenomenal,
That's good.
absolutely phenomenal. They were just incredible, and that is Laura and I agreed. Out of everything we've seen, any live show on Carnival, we like that better, even better than Celestial Strings, just because we're rockers, man,
Mhm.
and they played everything note for note, perfect. These guys, and they were fun. They even threw in a Rolling Stones song just to be funny because uh, the cruise line supplied them with their amplifiers and drum sets, all that. They brought their guitars and their
Mhm.
keyboards and all their stuff that they needed, but they didn't give them a cowbell. And the drummer found by using this metal table they gave him to hold some of his stuff on, he could get a cowbell sound off of it. So
That's
they wanted
awesome.
to see if they could do a Rolling Stone song and imitate the cowbell with the table. And it was perfect. It sounded absolutely perfect. And I ran into one of those guys in Costa Maya in the port, talked to him for a few minutes. Super, super nice guy. And they were awesome. And that rock hall is super nice. They got the bar right there and they're serving you drinks during the entire concert. Laura and I got out there and danced. Um, it was great. It was a great night and we really liked it. But that was the only really good spot to see an actual live band on that ship. And they had single like guitar performers in different spots on the ships, like in the barbecue place, Globe and Atlas, which was our favorite place to hang out again. It was on Harmony of the Seas, and it was on this one as well. They had a really good guy in there playing and singing, but it's so tight in there, and you're looking around poles and people, and you can't really see them. And but like I said, I liked it. Would I do another Royal? Yes, I've got 2 more booked. So I'm hoping on Icon they have something closer to an Ocean Plaza where they can have live bands playing where you can actually sit down and watch them. Um, I just don't like the way the promenade's set up. The other thing, the silent disco. Know where they do that?
No
In the
telling.
middle of the promenade, which is Grand Central, where everybody's walking through to get to one point to the other. So
Yeah.
you're walking around these people dancing out in the full lit up promenade. It's like dancing in the middle of the mall with their headphones on. It's so odd.
That's weird.
And they also their cruise directors are nowhere near Carnival's. Carnival's cruise directors are much more friendly,
Mhm.
and the guests on Carnival are different. I wouldn't say that they're I understand the difference now. There's more of a language barrier on Royal Caribbean with the guests than there is on Carnival.
Mhm.
There's a lot more English speaking guests on Carnival than there are on Royal. There's a
Hmm.
lot of Hispanic people and people with other languages on Royal than on Carnival. And there's different cultures. It seems as though there's more people like from like Europe sailing on Royal. They're flying into Miami and sailing on Royal and coming from South America. And then, of course, Miami has a large Hispanic population from
Mhm.
Cuba. So I don't know if it's just Royal is more appealing to the Hispanic community because they do have they have a Latin bar. Gosh, tell me in the comments, guys. I forget what it's called. But there's a bar and it's a Latin themed bar, and it is just they play Latin music all night long, and it's really cool. I don't know if maybe that's part of the draw. I really don't know, but that's the difference. Because you get an elevator in Carnival, you make a joke, I can get half of the people to laugh most of the time, right? And that one, I'd only get maybe a quarter. And I know my jokes were good though; they were solid. I had good material.
Solid.
And Carson, Kyle had every worker in the restaurants, the maitre d', everybody. Every time we walk by, they give him a high five. He'd go to the bathroom, they high five him on it. When we come back, high five him back to the table, high five him when he left, high five him when he was coming and going. He's making friends with everybody, right? So the crew is just as friendly on Royal. They're just as friendly. The bartenders are just as funny and fun, but there's a difference in culture. Like, if someone bumps into you on Carnival, for the most part, they're going to say, "Oh, sorry, excuse me," or something, and they don't like try to walk through you and around you. And other cultures, they're not as uncomfortable rubbing up against each other.
Bumping into each other.
Yeah, Americans, we're like, "Get off me, man!" Hey, you don't like that. We don't let people get in our personal space because we have issues. So yeah, so So I was really paying attention to that. I was like, "Going, what's different?" Now I'll tell you, really surreal thing that happened. It was a day of drinking. All of them were. But this one, we get in the elevator and there's a stand-up piano in there and the guy's in there playing piano. And I'm like going, what in the hell? And the guy laughs. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, we just rolled piano in the elevator, man. We start playing and we're going. I didn't want to get off the elevator. We're having so much fun. I did a couple of shorts of them and I'm going to share that on our channel here. It's pretty funny. I was like, it was just so odd to get in an elevator and there's a guy playing piano, playing and singing, and just I'm like going, oh my gosh, that was so fun. So they are fun, but the cruise directors are not to remind me of, like, in school, like in high school, middle school, your cool teacher, when he would be off, they have a substitute, and the substitute would try to be cool, but he wasn't cool. That's their crew. Their cruise directors are like that. They're like trying to be the cool cruise direct, but they're not. They're not as funny. They're not as engaging. But they're friendly, but they're just not as fun. So Carnival still gets the edge on fun. Even though on Royal Caribbean you can drink yourself unconscious. There's no limit on how much you drink. But I kind of have to agree with Brian and Julie. I think those drinks are watered down. It's hard for me to believe they're not. Because Laura's on there, man. She was bragging about being a rock star one day. She's on there, man, I don't know what it is, but I can hold my alcohol. And I'm like, now, Carnival does 16-ounce ultras, and Royal Caribbean does 12-ounce ultras. So it had no different on total ounces for me. I was drinking about the same amount of ounces a day. It's an embarrassing number. It's high. But yeah, I didn't. I probably still averaged, even without a drink limit. Usually on Carnival, I've never been cut off on Carnival ever. I know I've hit 15 a few times. I know I've gone over 15 a few times because the guys will just start charging Laura's card, because when you can really hold your liquor good, and she drinks martinis and stuff, dude, you can't drink 15 of those in a day unless you're Brian. Yeah. And bourbons. I was drinking bourbons on a celebration with High Seas Pa and Cindy. He's like, Ed, I'm going to turn you into a bourbon guy. I'm like, I don't think you can do it, buddy. And he kept giving me these different bourbons. Now, smell it. I'm like, what does it smell like? Rubbing alcohol. No. I go, so it smells like to me. Well, drink it. I go, do I sip it? He goes, you can sip it or slam it. So I slammed it. He goes, what it tastes like? I go, I've never tasted it, but if I did, I think it would taste like rubbing alcohol. He was like, he looked at me with disgust. This is like some handcrafted bourbon where, someone sacrificed a goat at midnight on the third Sunday of the month, in the eclipse year, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, dude, in a special crafted barrel. he's telling me all this stuff. He goes, all right, I got another one. Now this one is premium and it's served on ice. Okay, go ahead and take it. Smell it. Smell it. So what does it smell like? Rubbing alcohol. He's like, oh man, it doesn't smell like rubbing. I'm like, all right. So I drink it. I go, you want me to sip this one? I took a couple of sips. He goes, really taste it. Sipped it in 2 or 3 sips and it was gone. He goes, now tell me, was that better? I go, it tastes like cold rubbing alcohol because it was on ice. And he just laughing at me. But I drank all his drinks with them, just to
They were all
prove I wasn't a cop, proving I was on his team. But anyways, ultimately, Royal's awesome. It is. Royal is awesome. I look forward to getting on the Oasis a second time because it's impossible to take in that entire ship in 7 days. It's also impossible to do when you're an excursion machine. We were, oh my gosh, we had, and I will tell you, that was probably our best cruise. Now, all the things I said, it might seem like I'm being kind of negative of Royal, but Laura and I both believe, even with laryngitis, feeling like garbage half the week, it was still probably our best cruise we've had. So Royal it's cool, man. It's a very cool cruise line. But again, I could go on the SS Minnow with the skipper and Gilligan and be pretty happy as long as we don't crash. So, but I'm not pretty easy to please on a cruise ship. So with that, but a lot of it has to do with the excursions because we did 3 really nice excursions, and Perfect Day at Coco Cay is awesome. It's absolutely incredible. Back in 2017, it was like a stony beach that you couldn't walk on, but we didn't go to the beach. We looked at it. We went to that pool, and it's a monstrous pool with the coldest water in North America. I don't know where I think they put ice in it. I'm gonna warn you. The water is cold, but it only come up to like your knee. It was up to my chest, so you'll be all right. But yeah, and there's a bar. There's always a bar, Josh. There's a bar there, so it was pretty cool. And the water park looks amazing. It's expensive. I think it's $100 a person, but your kids will love it. You know, Philip and Mallory, they'll take that $100 from you. They'll
than Atlantis.
Oh, they'll love it, man. It's absolutely, for kids. It's incredible. The Abyss. I did the Abyss. Little of a letdown because I was prepared to be scared and I wasn't. The water slides are way faster and more painful. But have you done them, the water slides?
I've done some of them.
Well, you know how when you're turning, you're whacking the side of your knee, and your ankle, and your elbow, everything's hitting all the way down, and you feel every one of those seams were bolted together on your back. And this, you get in like a rug, and you go down like a magic carpet. And I almost feel like that rug's designed to limit the speed because it feels like you kind of slow down a little bit. Like you start picking up speed and you're like, oh, this is going to be something. But then because the incline changes, it slows you down. It's still fun. There was no line when we did it. It was just go right up there, go right down it, and really cool. But I had to do that. We didn't do the rock wall. We were going to do it, but every time we looked at it, it wasn't open. Just like my last time on a Royal ship. I don't know. There's a wind involved. And I'm going to tell you, I've never seen waves as high as they were in a dock in a port as it was at Coco Cay that day. The waves were just like, they were probably 3-4 feet just coming up.
Wow.
There was a MSC ship there when we got off, and you just, it's sitting there at the dock, man, waves. I'm like, oh man. And couple days it was super windy, but I think that's just part of cruising in November and December. I think it's just you're just gonna have more wind because last year we ran the same thing when we sailed in December and January and February too. It was just really, really windy, more so than other times of the year. But like I said, I would highly recommend Oasis. I'm looking forward to sailing with you guys on Oasis of the Seas. So now, I know I rambled on about that a lot. There's a lot there though. There really is. And I think Carnival's doing a lot of things right. The numbers. Someone tried to tell me there's 6,400 people on Oasis. Oasis handles traffic a lot better than Carnival does.
That's
That ship
good.
does. It flows really, really nice. You just got to watch out at breakfast, man. Breakfast is when the ship has potential to be completely overcrowded, and that's the same thing on the XL ships,
Mm-hmm.
and even the Dream class ships and
Mm-hmm.
the Vista class ships on Carnival. If everybody avoided alcohol and didn't, half of them weren't passed out, sleeping it off half of the morning, and got up in the morning, they couldn't feed us all at the same time. They're just that's the way these ships are. They bank on people not being
Getting
able to
hungover.
function in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and a lot of them skip breakfast. And you see it when you go down the hallway. They had the do not disturb signs all the way up and down, you know, on each side when you're up in the morning. So that's I kind of worry about. It's kind of the same thing like with Planet Fitness. If everybody with the Planet Fitness membership decided to start going, you wouldn't even be able to find a parking spot, let alone get in there and work out.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of one of those things. So, but if there were 6,400 people, there was a lot of kids. I was really surprised at how many kids there were for being, you know, in December. Uh, there's a lot of kids on that ship, but we didn't notice anything like crazy. But there was uh, some people that were scamming in the casino that got caught. I know we shared that story with you
Yeah,
guys. Sent you
I
a
heard
text
that.
about that. Yeah, and a lady was turned over to the Miami police when they got there for, you know, trying to steal people's, uh, you know, their receipts out of the machine and stuff like that. So now, hey, buddy, I know I was going to ask you now, New York, would you go back?
Yes, I'm gonna answer Julie's question. Julie, I'm looking forward to the food and the space. She asked me a question about what I'm looking forward to on Royal.
I got her here. There we
But,
go.
yeah, I'm looking forward to the food and the space on the ship. Love the dream class, but they're a little tight fitting for me. New York, would I go back? Yes. Did I ever think I would want to go back before I went? No. But I love New York. I thought it was great. The people were really hospitable. Um, didn't run into no rude people, you know. And there, everybody's used to getting bumped into. So if you bumped into somebody, they wasn't expecting you to say excuse me and stuff. So, but it was a great time. Had a great time with Julie and Brian. Really looking forward to taking the kids in June while y'all were up there and we're all together when we get off Oasis, taking the kids and getting to do some cool stuff.
Well, we could end up doing the same thing with you on that. If Taylor, Kyle, and Carson go, uh, Carson will be just about almost 23. So my kids they're all grown, right? But if they go, we'll definitely be probably staying over in New
Mm-hmm.
York for
Yeah.
a couple days afterwards. And because Taylor and Kyle never been to New York. Carson was with us back in August and he loved it. We thought the unique thing about New York was the smells. It was like you'd smell marijuana, urine, and garbage like all together at times, and then you'd smell like hot dogs, and you'd smell popcorn, and smell this and that,
Mm-hmm.
everything, and uh, how lively the streets are. There are people out there walking constantly, all hours of the night. It never sleeps. And like
Yeah.
you said, we had the same experience. No one was rude to us. The homeless people grab and open doors. They play like they're Carlton, the doorman, you know, hoping that you'll give them a tip on your way out. Like if you go into the 7-Eleven or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty crazy. We had a weird thing happen to us when we went up to 42nd and Broadway over there and came
Mm-hmm.
back to our hotel. A parade. They had a parade, like out of the blue. They had half the streets barricaded off, police everywhere, and we couldn't go back the same route. So I'm like going, uh-oh, trying to figure out how to get back to hotel. I couldn't go back the route I went, you know, and I
Yeah.
had it in my head, I'm gonna go here, make a left, make a right, do reverse what I just did. And I got turned around and we went 3 blocks in the wrong direction. And where I realized I went too far, and I was like, and Laura's like, wanted to kill me because her feet were killing her, all that walking. You put some
Mm-hmm.
steps in, don't you? We
No,
didn't do
a
we
lot.
didn't do the subway. We walked. We walked everything. We did a bus tour, and then we pretty much walked everywhere. Um, and we took a taxi a couple times, and that was it. We didn't get to do everything. We didn't get to do the memorial. We thought our bus tour was going to stop there. We were trying to book with on tour company and looked at their entire itinerary, and we thought the competitor did the same thing. We assumed, and we booked with them, and they didn't even go. They didn't even go there. I was like so disappointed, and we couldn't figure out how to get over there with all the other stuff we had going on. So we have to go back just for that alone. You know, we did what you did. Battery Park, I think it is, where you can see the Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty, yeah.
That's when you realize it's. Did you know the Statue of Liberty is 1,000 miles away?
It's nowhere near New York City.
No. It's just big when you're in New York. It's like, what the heck?
And it's actually in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Brian will tell you that. Brian's guarding it, right? He's keeping an eye on it.
Well, Brian's not here to defend himself, but Brian told me the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island's like that neighbor you let them borrow a tool and they never give it back. That's how he feels about the statue. New Jersey let them borrow some water, and now New York won't give it back.
Yeah, I was feeling bad, man. We were watching you guys. You were having just a ball with those guys, and we're like, gosh, we wish we could be with you guys.
Y'all were in spirit. That's why we drew the pictures.
Oh, yeah, that was so funny, man. We were laughing. We were loving it. And you in that taxi cab with your head up against the ceiling. I don't know how you fit in those. Everything was tiny.
It was hard getting in it, and the poor taxi cab driver was just like, I don't know about this, but I squeezed in it. It was very uncomfortable for the little bit of distance we were in it. So
yeah, well, a lot of people, I gotta give you credit, man. A lot of people are terrified to go in a big city like that and get on a subway and make their way around, and because you believe that it's going to be far more dangerous than it actually is, because it is if you're out there in the middle of the night. Now I'll tell you,
we're in the wrong part of New York. Yeah,
Detroit, Chicago. They're the same way. Chicago is absolutely an incredible city if you stay in the right parts of downtown Chicago, and especially during the daylight. And then if you're out at night, there's taxi cabs everywhere. So you go right out your hotel. There's taxi cabs lined up on the curb. You get in a cab, take you right where you want to go. You get out of that place. There's cabs lined up. You get in a cab. You don't even have to call. You got to get an app. New Orleans the same way. Yeah, that's the way it should be. This new system of, okay, now we got to find a ride. Get the app out. Okay, Juan is 9 minutes away. Juan's 14 minutes away. Juan's 17 minutes away. Wait a minute. No, Juan's 3 minutes away. We were doing that waiting for our driver at the airport at Miami. And we got 4 of us, and we have luggage for 8 days each. And we're playing roulette. Hopefully all our luggage fits in what they consider an XL vehicle, right? So, yeah, we definitely want to do the New York trip again. And because I think that, and I like staying right downtown. It was awesome. Now, was your hotel room extra super small?
No, we had a massive hotel room.
Did you? Oh my God. We were at the DoubleTree, and we were in the smallest hotel room we've ever stayed in our lives. That you couldn't even, it was the biggest space in the room. We had 2 queen size beds, was between the 2 queen size beds, because there's a nightstand between them. And you could actually walk between those 2, but you couldn't get between the wall and the window on each side of those beds. And you could barely get between the foot of the bed and the wall walking around. Our luggage was in the way the entire time. You couldn't put it under the bed. We just had to keep moving it around. We had 4 of us. We had the boys with us, and it was pretty expensive. We did 2 nights. I was going to pay $700 a night to get 2 rooms, so we were all in there together. And the bathroom was a good sized bathroom, but everything else is so small. And then we had one of those views where you look out the window and you're just looking at a wall. Hey, it's I guess we keep the curtains closed.
But our room was good size. But one thing about our building we found out was it was a Hilton vacation building, resort. So people could buy timeshares into there too. So it was kind of like it was a timeshare vacation club part of Hilton. That's why it was not as many rooms, but the rooms were very large and stuff.
What street was that on?
It was on 48th. It was on. It was halfway between 5th Avenue and I'm assuming that's got to be 6th going that way.
Yeah,
Lives a block and a half from Rockefeller Center and Saks Fifth Avenue.
yeah, you're a little more north than us. We were like, I think we are 34th and 8th Avenue, somewhere around there, 35th and 8th Avenue,
Yes, so
right around there.
yeah.
And it was a nice location. I liked it. We are near the basketball arena, Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
Yeah, we're over there by that. It was pretty cool. And then that train station, Penn Station or whatever, was right across the street. Yeah, the homeless people are pretty entertaining there, man. I'll tell you, I seen some crazy cats out there, doing some funny stuff. And like I said, no one bothered us. The beggars, that we weren't getting panhandled constantly and stuff. I was surprised by that. And there's police everywhere, so I felt really safe. And it's a cool city. Now Detroit has an area called Greektown. It's a real small area where everybody walks around like that at night. Probably, and Greektown, an area around it. It's called Campus Martius, and it's really nice around there. But you get outside of that area, you better you keep your hand on your wallet and keep your legs moving, and don't make eye contact with anybody. But it's Chicago, the south side of Chicago. You don't ever want to stop on the south side of Chicago or Gary, Indiana. If you're coming in from our way, you want to get your gas before you get to Gary, Indiana, or south side of Chicago. You do not want to stop there to get gas because those pretty dangerous places. But now the family reunion group cruise. Try to talk to kids into doing that one, and they want to do Oasis. So Howie Cruise is going to get their dollar, it looks like. And I'm like, try to work them over. Yeah, it's going to be good. But yeah, they got New York. They want to go to New York really bad. And my daughter prefers Royal over Carnival. She really does. Kyle's like me. He'll go on any cruise line. So the family reunion group cruise, you got that. But you guys haven't talked much about the family reunion group cruise part 2.
Part 2, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the Jubilee the following late July in 2024 out of Galveston. And the reason we chose it there, it would give people in the South, we go to school a lot earlier in the year and get out a lot earlier than up north when we found that out through Julie and Brian with how we cruise. So we chose to do it a little bit later in the summer, but right before we go back to school in early August, which I mean, my kids are homeschooled, but they still have to start their program in early August. So we chose, and plus Amanda wanted to give everybody time to pick a room, have time to pay for it. It's about 18. Right now we're at about 20 months out, but we want to give people time to pay for things because things aren't getting any cheaper, even though gas went down a couple cents here today. But just give people more time. And if you have been thinking about staying in a balcony room, it gives you time to maybe pay for a balcony room and have time to pay for it. Or, Lord, if you can afford a suite, you want a suite, get you a suite, Me, I think we're going 2 interior rooms as usual because I got to have a room for my kids. Or I don't know. Amanda may have picked us a balcony with an interior across the hallway from us or something. I don't know. Something like that. But
yeah,
it's going to be a great cruise out of Texas. Kind of more on our home turf than Miami and going up to Bayonne with Brian and Julie.
I'm really happy we booked it, that we're going with you because with them canceling the one we were on, we don't have to reschedule it. We can't do the inaugural cruise now under any circumstances because now the first cruise of Jubilee will be December 23rd. There's 2 problems with that. It's sold out. And number 2, we will not cruise on Christmas. We're not complete savages. We cruise on Thanksgiving. We'll do that again. But we're not going to be away from our family on Christmas.
No, and I get that.
So, and we couldn't anyways. It was sold out, but we wouldn't. So with that, they did give us a 25% cruise credit. I don't know what that means, what that equals into US dollars. I have no idea. And some incentives to book another cruise, like $100 onboard credit per person per room if we book it by February. So we are looking at, we'll probably still book something for Thanksgiving week, like I was saying earlier. But we're really glad. So when we do the Jubilee, that'll be our first time on a Jubilee too with you guys. So we'll be experiencing it for the first time as well. And I believe we're going to see lessons learned from Mardi Gras celebration and the Jubilee. So the Jubilee will be even better. Now, the celebration, I didn't bring this up. we weren't blown away by the live music on the celebration on the inaugural cruise.
Oh yeah.
It was okay, but it wasn't. The Dream Cruise was better.
Mm-hmm.
Our Dream Cruise, we liked that better than the Celebration Cruise. The thing we liked the best about Celebration, Josh, was we had a bunch of friends on there.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that was a selling point for us. We had a ball hanging out with our friends and getting to meet people in person that we know. And it was really cool, putting names with faces in the real world. And that was really cool. And that leads us to one last thing, the vlogger extravaganza.
Out of New Orleans.
Yeah, and that's going to be you're be our tour guide, man. Now,
yeah,
Brian,
it's gonna be a great time.
I think it's Kevin's birthday or Katie's birthday. I can't remember which one of their children is having a birthday. So they were going to come in on Friday. So now they're not going to be able to come in until later on Saturday. Yeah. But we're still coming early Friday. We got no choice because that's the way the flights worked out. So we'll be arriving, I think, around noon on Friday. So whenever you get there.
We're going to be there early enough to get y'all from the airport, I believe. We're coming down that morning. It's a pretty quick trip. I say that. It's about 4 hours for us, but it's all interstate. But I think we're going to be at the airport to grab y'all.
That'd be awesome, man, if you're able to do that.
Yeah.
But even if you can't, something happens, at least we'll be able to hook up with you guys early on Friday, and you can show us the ropes. My mom is excited about meeting all you guys. I told Laura to tell you guys in a group chat that she's really mean. She's not. She's mean to me. You should see how she treats her grandkids and great grandkids.
Well, that's how it goes.
Yeah. She treats them. You should see my 15-year-old son. She's like, he was out trick or treating. You know, most 15-year-olds don't trick or treat, but there's a girl involved. Okay, you feel me? Yeah, and he's almost your height. Now I think he's like 5'10", 5'11", but 15. He's pretty tall.
Almost.
Yeah, he's catching up to you. He's still growing. But she was like at 7:30. She's like, sends him a text. Where you at? You need to get home. And we were laughing. We're like, man, when I was 15, she didn't know where I was at. You know, it's like I don't even know. She didn't even check to see if I made it in the house. You know what I mean? It's like you're on your own. You know, they'll be making something. She'll runs in there and she lives here. She'll run there. Oh, let me do that, and she makes them whatever they're eating, and it's just silly. Won't let them wash their clothes. You're gonna tear up the washing machine. They're spoiled, man. They're spoiled. Oh, yeah. But anyways, man, I appreciate you coming on, and I hope I was able to give you a good picture of the Oasis versus Carnival. And like I said, the ship, you're going to like the ship flow on the Oasis, and the ships are really, really nice. They're really, really nice. And I know it's a weird thing to keep focusing on, but the bathrooms are really nice. Carnival bathrooms never really impressed me, but this one's they're like nice hotel bathrooms. There's lots of marble and, fancy. The urinals actually have space big enough for an adult male to fit in.
Yeah, I can't fit in none of them.
I'm half your size, dude. I don't fit in there, man. I'm in there like touching elbows with the guy next to me. That's kind of weird.
It's very uncomfortable.
You never make eye contact or talk to the guy next to you while doing your business, unless there's 3 stalls between you and there's a sporting event going on. You just hear people screaming out there. Oh, they must have fumbled. Yeah, those idiots. Yeah, you can do that, but you still don't look at each other. But anyways, unless you're Brian, we didn't pick on Brian enough tonight. He's yelling at kids shorter than him tonight.
Yeah.
Probably not, though. They're on skates. They're probably taller.
They're probably taller than Brian.
Yeah. That picture of you two, the first picture they showed, and I looked and I was laughing. I said, it looks like take your kid to the big city day. Because it looked like you were his tour guy.
When we met him and stuff, Julie was like, my God, you're bigger in person. I'm like, I have that effect on people.
Well, people don't understand. One of my best friends, he's 6'6". But he's like 360 pounds, and he's built super wide across the shoulders. And he's not only tall, he takes up massive space. And I got another buddy that's 6'8" and 400 pounds. They're built like refrigerators with legs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're huge and tall, thin guys like you don't take up as much you're not as big as they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys, they tend to be, both of those guys don't have really long legs for as tall as they are. They're real high torso. So no matter what they're riding in, they're like this, like the Incredibles. The guy from the Incredibles driving his car. That's how they look like driving a Lincoln. They don't fit nothing.
I'm pretty evenly proportioned with my torso and my legs. So
well, you're like, you don't look like you're freak. Yeah, you don't look like you're freakish, built like Frankenstein, like my buddies. So, but anyways, Josh, man, I appreciate you being on here, dude. Love you. You and Amanda, you're awesome. Your kids are awesome. We love Brian and Julie as well. We love all you guys that are in here. Sorry to engage more with you.
Julie said we didn't pick on Brian enough.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for a guy.
I was going to mention that, when you were talking about the zip line on Oasis, that, Brian's the only person to ever zip line in high heels on a Royal Caribbean ship.
Did he wear them?
It in short.
Well, I was going to make fun of him. He's dressed up like the kid in the Christmas Story out there in the cold. Yeah, with a rifle. Look, I'm like, look at that guy. But he sent a picture to me. We were getting ready to go on a celebration, and the Lions were playing the Giants, and he jinxed the Giants because he said, "Oh, the Lions." I don't think he's much of a football fan because he said Lions are probably beat the Giants. The Giants aren't good in cold weather. I'm like, dude, the Lions play in a dome. They're not good in cold weather. They're not good in warm weather. They're not good in indoor weather. They're not good in any weather. I'm like, they're the Lions, dude. And the Lions wouldn't beat him, but he sent me a picture of himself getting ready to go out there, and he had on like this huge like pea coat on, and he had the mask thing on and everything, and he had the hat on, and he almost looked like he was with like some kind of European army or Russians, like he's going to come and take you away. Yeah. Comrade, come with me. Yeah, but I appreciate Brian's service, and he's a great guy. He's always talking smack about everything though. So, we got to stay hard on him though. You know what I mean, Josh?
Yeah. I'm just reading Julie's text about me and him sitting next to each other on the subway. They have equal torsos, just short legs.
Oh, so he's all torso.
He's a lot of torso, no legs.
Well, hey, he can't run fast. That's what we just figured out there. So you can talk smack to him. We got to worry about him catch us using those special force tactics on us. They'll grab you in a pinch point or nerve ending or something like that. Use that kung fu on you. He keeps starting me with these hard drinks and these IPAs. I told him I don't drink IPAs because I'm not in a fraternity, I'm blue collar, dude. I'm blue collar. I'm going to show you guys what that's all about. You keep making fun of me drinking beer. Oh, you drink beer. I drink a lot of them though. Makes me have to go to the bathroom a lot. That's the bad thing. But I don't have to go to meetings though, so I don't want you to worry about me or saying special prayers for me, Josh. I don't have any problems yet. I'm not professional. I'm just an amateur drinker. I'm going to say that.
I want to take to you when we go to New Orleans, possibly Friday, maybe for lunch or something.
Whatever you got in mind, buddy. I'm going to try to corrupt you.
I don't know if you do that. I mean, that's country folks do a little crazy stuff.
Well, I like that. I've got a lot of country in me. I think my mom and dad might have been cousins. They're from the same part of Kentucky, but that's still north to you guys. Kentucky's still north, but that's south for us. So, all right, man. Well, I'm going to get out of here. And like I said, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. I know I'm not as much of a draw without Laura, so I had to pull out the secret weapon, the good-looking guy from Louisiana. So, all right, man. We'll see. And sorry I got out of your live on you early yesterday. She was sitting there watching you guys on her phone, and we have to have all the volume off on everything. We can only listen to the volume on her phone. So my phone's at a different speed than her phone. You guys are like watching kung fu movies from the 70s.
Oh yeah,
where you're overdubbed with English, and I'm listening to that, and I'm doing replies, and all of a sudden I hear her. I want to say she's snoring, but she was heavy breathing. How's that sound? And her phone's just sitting there, and she's out. And we had just had groceries delivered, and we ordered a new vaporizer. So I opened that and put the Vic stuff in it and put it next to her and got her all set up. And by the time that was all done, I'm like, all right, we got to get out of here. So I told you guys good night. But
completely
anyway,
understand.
She's going to be okay. She's going to live. and she'll be on the next live, and everybody be happy to see her again because I'm not as funny as she is.
We're not
again.
as riveting as she is.
Well, you know, I got to tell you too, I do like not getting kicked.
It's pretty nice. The only thing I've had is J-Lo sitting at my feet the whole time because Amanda's at choir practice.
Laura's got to kick me at least 3 times alive. She'll be like, don't.
She's going to kick you when you get done for telling everybody she fell asleep and alive.
Nah, it's okay. She was really sick.
Deeply.
But I'm going to tell you, we go hard on those cruises. And, but, you know, vlogging on this one is going to be really patchy because of, it's hard. Oh my gosh. It's hard to balance it when you have your kids with you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're spending time with them and you're trying to make sure they're having a really good experience. And, you know, and then they're wanting to drink with us. And my kids they're not really drinkers, you know, and Taylor had a rough night. She had too many and she was not well. And and they're trying, and Kyle he wants to do shots because he don't like the taste of alcohol. So he'd rather do a bunch of shots. He had everyone in the bar doing shots. We found out half the bar was from Wisconsin. This kid, I wish I could have got him on a lot more of the vlogs because everybody loves him. He's just so crazy.
That's good.
But he's only good for about 5 of those. And then he's done for the night. He does 5 of them and he's gone. He's gone. He's done. He's like, oh, I'm wasted. I'm like, dude, you've only been drinking for like an hour and 10 minutes. I'm like, you got to pace yourself, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain to these kids how you do it. But with that, let's see. Okay.
My phone's blowing up with all the group text and stuff. People are just steadily dinging me.
I got those guys on ignore. the only guy I need to talk to is right here. The legend, man.
Oh, no, I ain't no legend.
The original Little Debbie's king. I tell everybody that story, how you started buying Little Debbie's for all the guys in your crew, taking the time to find out which ones they like, and going out of your way to make sure you get them their exact Little Debbie.
Still
Little
doing
Debbie, we got to get you a deal with Little Debbie. I'm going to work on that. Big Josh.
I need to go up there. If we ever do the Pigeon Forge thing, we all go on a tour of the Little Debbie plant.
That's awesome, dude. I love it down there. We went there during the pandemic, and oh my God, you would have thought the pandemic never was there. It was crowded. It was crazy, man. You know, you can walk. Well, it's actually in Gatlinburg. How you go uphill everywhere, and it's like everybody's on top of everybody. Oh my goodness! But I love it down there, man. You're driving along, and it's like you're in Deliverance. You're in these back like wood little, and you're like going, oh my God, I hope I don't have a breakdown. Then you come out and there's like civilization, and then you're back into that. It's so great. It's so crazy up in those hills, man. But I love it down there. Yeah, it's good stuff. You're going there for Christmas, yeah. That's awesome.
2 weeks from Tuesday.
You know, we need to do a trip to Tennessee, to Nashville. That I love it in Nashville, man. I when I leave out there, I got a country twang. Yeah, I don't buy the hats and boots though, because I don't want to be full city slicker.
I can get you some boots now. That's what I wear every day. If I'm not in a suit and tie, I wear my boots.
There you go, man. I would too if I was down there with you. Up here, they make fun of you.
No,
they'll ask me if I'm a magician. Yeah. Well, what are you doing, buddy? You don't ride a horse here. All right. Well, we've been on here forever, and love you, man. I'll talk to you later. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
There you go. Peace.